The rumor mills have been churning hard around the Miami Dolphins, and one name keeps rising to the top: Jaelan Phillips. Word is that the Dolphins might be willing to trade him, with the Philadelphia Eagles being the likeliest destination. The whispers say the price is a day 2 pick, think 3rd round, and that Philly might ask Miami to pick up part of Phillips' prorated salary for his 5th-year option. He's making about $13.3 million this season. If you're following this closely, yep, that all tracks. Why are the Eagles in the mix? They're hunting for pass rush help. Phillips fits the bill, and there's an added wrinkle. Their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, used to do the same job in Miami just a season ago. Connections matter. So yes, they're looking at him. And the Dolphins? They're at a crossroads. Here's where things get interesting. On one hand, Phillips has shown flashes of pressure, returned from his torn ACL, and gotten after quarterbacks. On the other hand, when it counts, he's come up short. Late play versus Justin Herbert with the Los Angeles Chargers tickled a sack chance on Lamar Jackson and let it turn into a big game with the Baltimore Ravens. So you're left with this: potential and flash, yes, but consistency and finishes? Not quite locked in yet. Then there's the storyline of his contract status. He's heading toward unrestricted free agency next year, and the Dolphins must be asking, do we give a long-term deal to a guy with his injury past when this season's been a mess for the team? If you're honest, maybe the answer is no. Trade him and get value now. It starts to feel like the smart move. But hold up, there's the compensatory pick angle. If Miami keeps Phillips, lets him go in free agency, they might get a compensatory draft pick. However, compensatory picks only kick in from the 3rd round or later. The team must lose more qualifying free agents than they sign. Currently, the projections say Miami won't get any compensatory picks for 2026 because the numbers net out 0. They signed 4 and lost 4. So counting on that pick is risky. Takeaway: if there's a chance to get a 3rd-round pick now guaranteed for Phillips, maybe with Miami taking on part of his salary, that might be the better move. A pick in hand beats maybe later in this case. Another thing, Miami has 2 other edge rushers, Matthew Judon and Bradley Chubb. Those guys are older, more expensive, more established, and less likely to fetch a clean pick if traded. So this Phillips trade chatter might be the smart pivot point. Back to the heart of the matter. What does this signal about Miami's direction? If they move Phillips, that's a tacit admission that this season isn't going as hoped. Rebuild or reset, it hints at that. They're cutting loose a guy with promise, but also with baggage. They're leaning into the future, not the too-long-shot hope. And for Phillips, this is a fork in the road. If he goes to Philadelphia, he gets a chance in a defense hungry for edge rushers, with a scheme familiar thanks to Fangio. Could be a place where he turns more consistent, stakes rise. But he has to leave behind the what-ifs and missed moments in Miami. From a fan's point of view, it's bittersweet. You root for the guy. You trust the talent, but you also understand the business. You see the injuries. You see the flashes. You worry about long-term. You get that maybe the organization is saying, we love you, but we might love value more. So yes, if I were handing advice, make the trade if you're Miami. Lock in that 3rd-rounder, or even think if a 4th comes in, fine. Don't gamble on the compensatory pick game when the odds aren't in your favor. And make sure you've got Plan B for that edge rush spot, because letting Phillips walk with nothing isn't a reflection of prestige. It's a missed chance. And for you, the fans, keep your eyes peeled. If the trade goes down, it's one of those moments that defines the franchise's mindset. Are we rebuilding hard? Are we daring to reshuffle? Are we saying, we believe in the next wave? Because this decision won't just be about Phillips. It'll ripple throughout team morale, roster structure, identity. Picture this. A week from now, draft pick in hand, Phillips in a new uniform. Or picture him staying, us hoping he turns the corner but with no guarantee and possibly no return if he leaves. Which lane feels smarter? Which one gives the team momentum, credibility, and the felt sense of being proactive? The more I think, the more that pick now route wins. And don't forget, this roster has to do more. Even if you trade Phillips, you still have to build around what you've got. You still have to draft well, free agency smart, fill gaps. This move isn't the finish line, it's a crossroads. But sometimes the crossroads is what defines the journey. In the end, keep watching. Keep hoping for the big sack, the game-changing play. But also be ready for the recalibration. Because the Miami Dolphins might just be about to pull the trigger. And the ripple will tell us a lot about where we're going next. See, when you peel back the layers, this whole Jalen Phillips thing isn't just about numbers, or contracts, or cap space. It's about trust. It's about whether this team, this Miami Dolphins squad that's been through flashes of brilliance and waves of frustration, still believes in what it's building. You can feel it, can't you? The uncertainty, the tension under the surface. The coaching staff trying to hold the locker room steady. The front office pretending the rumors don't sting. Everyone's trying to act like it's business as usual, but it's not. There's something fragile here. The kind of balance that can tilt either way with one decision. Because trading Phillips isn't just a roster move. It's a message. It tells everyone, from Tyreek to Tua to the last guy on special teams, that the front office is ready to shake things up. That loyalty and potential take a backseat to results. That almost is no longer good enough. And maybe that's exactly what they need. You think about Phillips, the flashes of dominance, the quickness, the explosion. You also think about the missed sacks, the nagging injuries, the games where he disappears just when it matters most. There's talent, sure, but there's also frustration. Every time he's on the verge of breaking out, something pulls him back. So yeah, maybe a change of scenery helps him. Maybe Fangio unlocks that version of Phillips that Miami thought it drafted. Maybe in Philly, surrounded by a relentless defense and a fan base that breathes fire, he becomes the guy everyone imagined he could be. And maybe, just maybe, Miami watches from afar thinking, we couldn't get that out of him. But before we call it a win-win, you've got to wonder, what's left on the Dolphins' edge if Phillips walks? Bradley Chubb has been up and down. Matthew Juden's been streaky. And behind them, depth that's more hope than production. There's risk here, too. Trading away a player still finding his ceiling when your own defense has cracks. And that's what makes it so complicated. This isn't a rebuild where you can just toss away talent and start fresh. This is a team that's supposed to be there, in the hunt, in the fight. So if they pull the trigger, it means they're admitting that what they've built might not be working the way they wanted. And then there's the emotional part. The part no spreadsheet captures. Phillips is one of their guys. Drafted, developed, hyped up, backed up through injuries. Fans have ridden that wave with him. They've waited. They've believed. So if he's gone, it'll sting. But maybe that's what's been missing. The willingness to make tough choices. For too long, Miami's been the team that almost gets it right. Almost contends. Almost finishes games. Maybe this trade talk, this uncertainty, is the shock they need to actually do something instead of waiting for things to fix themselves. Because, honestly, the bigger question isn't will they trade Phillips? It's who do the Dolphins want to be right now? Are they the team that keeps betting on potential? Or the one that finally makes hard, cold moves for the future? And the truth is, nobody really knows. The front office might still be split. The coaches might still be debating whether Phillips' upside is worth the risk. The locker room might be whispering, watching, wondering what comes next. It's not just a trade rumor anymore. It's a mirror. A mirror showing everything that's both right and wrong with this franchise. The flashes of brilliance, the hesitation, the frustration, the hope that refuses to die even when logic says it should. Maybe that's why this whole thing feels so heavy. Because it's not just about Jalen Phillips. It's about direction, identity. The sense that something big is shifting, and nobody's quite sure whether it's the start of a rise or another reset. You look at the front office, at the scouting department, at the sidelines. Everyone's got something at stake here. Make the move, and you're banking on your ability to draft right, to replace production, to turn that pick into something real. Hold tight, and you're betting on belief that Phillips can stay healthy, consistent, dominant. Both paths have risk. Both paths could define the next 2 or 3 years of Dolphins football. And that's why this story has weight. Because the Dolphins can't afford to miss anymore. Not after the last few seasons. Not after the glimpses of greatness, followed by the same gut punch endings. So yeah, it's about a trade. But it's also about a heartbeat. about whether this team still has the nerve to keep believing in its own potential or if it's finally time to start breaking things apart, piece by piece, until something new and tougher grows from it. One move, one player, one decision that could shift everything again.